Let's tighten up. It's your boy, the One Piece Shark, back here again. Another episode, of course. Last episode of 2021. So that means is I got to give my shout outs for the year. So I got to, I've had a plethora of guests this whole year. I mean, from January all the way to now, including two gentlemen that I have on tonight, and Tightest, Rossi, and the Power Hour, who I bring on in a second. I've been able to become and get on their show this year. So actually getting them on my show is actually, it's a good thing getting tight YouTubers. We all support each other. So of course, shout out to those guys for allowing me to get on their show this year. Shout out to my guys, Dom, Chris, Dillard, Darius Haywood, T Time, Rod, Twitter name Kung Fu Roddy, my guy Savage, Chris at Titans and Truth. I was actually a guest on his show during the NFL draft first. Then he came on my show when we had our Memphis versus Nashville episode back in July. There's a fellow Memphian. Shout out to my guy Mike Patton, host of Touring AFC South. I'm actually gonna be on his podcast next week, so stay tuned for that. Check out his show, Touring AFC South. Also, shout out to my guy Ryan Harris. Also, prayers out to Ryan Harris. He just lost his grandmother today, so prayers up to my guy, man. Prayers up to you and your family. Shout out to my guy Ian Teasy, who I had the pleasure of meeting when I went out to LA to go to the Rams game. So got a chance to meet him out there. So shout out to my guy Ian. Shout out to my guy Melvin Purdy, who came on the episode as well as a Rams fan. Shout out to my guy Damian Adams. Check out his podcast, The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Shout out to my guy Zach Reed, Patriots fan, had him on the Patriots episode. My guy Sean Calderon, like I said, check out his work. Great writer, writes for the Titans for Broadway Sports. Also, shout out to my guys Skylar and Trevor from Let's Be Real podcast. Of course, my co-host on Let's Be Real and the Starting Five podcast with the Memphis Grizzlies. Had them on the Pittsburgh Steelers episode. I got D.D. Simpson, known about on Titans Twitter a lot, lives in Pittsburgh. Had them on the Steelers episode as well. Shout out to my guys, Fat Boy Fadeaway podcast. My guys Darren and Tyler was on their show after we played the Bills on Monday Night Football, and brought Darren actually got to come on the show last week to headline the 49ers game, but Tyler is the actual 49ers fan. And shout out to my guy Two Tone Zone. I was on his show sometime, I think after the Cardinals game, and he was one of the Titan YouTubers who reached out to me this summer when I probably was feeling a little down about podcasts at the time. So huge shout out to him. He the one who's kind of the reason why this show is honestly still up and running, and kind of gave me the boost that I needed to keep going. And last but not least, of course, shout out to my guy Coach Bourne. Cousin Stephen Air had him on the show earlier this year. Coach down in Yazoo County, Mississippi. And Chris Lewis, host of the Drop Balls podcast. Yes, he's a Colts fan, but he's one of the good Colts fans. So shout out to everybody who's been on the show this year. Gonna have plenty more guests coming on next year, 2022. Just stay tuned. Also remember, last week I said I was going to do switch the show to YouTube and just keep it on. I still don't have the audio versions for Spotify, Stitcher, and everything, but YouTube as well. I was going to eliminate Facebook Live and Twitter. I said I was going to do it starting 2022. I actually started it last week. So go ahead. I'm going to keep tweeting out the link, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal, 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. So please subscribe, like, share out on YouTube as well. And if you just love audio versions, I still have the audio versions available. So you can listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple. And you can rate me on Apple Podcasts. You can rate and actually comments, and Spotify is starting to add the feature. I saw it today. They actually got it where you can rate now, so you can at least rate, but you can't give a comment yet. So share the show out, man. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in, and let's get ready to get it started. Let's tighten up again, and got my guests in the building, Tightest, Rossi, in the Power Hour. How y'all fellas doing?
Doing good, P Shark. Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Rossi.
Yeah, man. Good seeing both of y'all. It's a pleasure to be on tonight with you fellas.
For sure. Before we get started, got a plethora of comments, of course. Bryce Pratt, man, what it do? What I got? I was on with him on the Power Hour last time. So, man, that's what's up. How are you? Doing well, man. Already got a new subscriber, man. Shout out to Ken Woods, man. Appreciate that, my guy. Appreciate that. Ian, what do you do? What do you do? What's up? Shark tighten up. See you savages, Dolph. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Rest in peace, young Dolph. As y'all know, got murdered. What's last? Now it's been a month, man. Sad. 27. Like I said, when I got Mike Pay like that, I'll be on his show next week, man. Appreciate you tuning in, man. And yeah, appreciate the shout out. No doubt, man. Tune in, I believe our radio show, Ashley, man. Appreciate it on Spotify. Yep, I just read yours today as well. Yep, just saw the feature today. And Kid Wood said, "What up, Ty Ross?"
What's up, Kent?
Yep. So
I see how it is, Kent. I see how it is.
and let me say this real quick, man. Prayers out to Kent. He's I don't know if he want me to say this live, but he's battling the C word sickness
man.
too. So prayers to him, man.
Yes, prayers for sure, man. You would think this thing be gone, but it's still here. Sad time.
Yeah, like you were mentioning earlier, P Shark, a big shout out to our buddy Ryan Harris. I know we've all had him on our shows, and it's unfortunate about his grandmother. So he's in our thoughts and prayers for sure tonight.
Definitely, for sure.
For sure. But let's get it started. As I do with first time guests. Like I said, I had once just thank y'all for having me on y'all's show at some point earlier with last couple of months. I've been on Power Hour twice. I was on Titans Rossi. Got there. It was about out to Arizona around that time. That was early in the season. So appreciate you having me on y'all's show, and appreciate for y'all agreeing to on my show as well. So just wanted to thank y'all for that. And as I do a first time guest, I always do a little question narrative, trying to get the audience to get to know a little more about you, and get be able to follow y'all shows as well. So first things up, where are you from and where you live now? Guess we start with Rossi, then Power Hour.
Yeah, I'm from a little town called Nolensville, Tennessee. It's just south of Nashville, but I live in South Florida now.
Power Hour.
I am originally born in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is kind of the fingertip. So it's really in the Tri-City area where Bristol, Kingsport are. And currently right now I'm in Church Hill. So looking to relocate to Nashville soon. So that's in the books right now, just to get a little closer to the action.
Nice. That won't be a bad move. And the reason I asked that question is first is I try to get like a feed on how you became a Titans fan. So no, different reasons. Like I live in Memphis. So a lot of people in Memphis don't like the Titans, partly because of everything that happened with them coming here for the year. They can support them because Memphis is the type of city we support you every your hours. We know you're gonna leave and go to Nashville now, and they're not gonna support you. I was too young at that time. I won't watch football. I started watching football when I ran Nashville in the Super Bowl run year. So I just like to know like how you became a Titans fan. So the same order, Rossi, go first, then the Power Hour.
Yeah, I mean, before we had an NFL team, honestly, I didn't even watch the NFL. My family was such big Vols fans. I mean, we were massive Vols fans. Went to games all the time. I remember going and seeing Heath Schuler and when I was a kid and stuff. And but when the Titans came around, we just kind of started really following them. My dad used to take us to Vanderbilt Stadium when they after they moved from Memphis to here, they were in Vanderbilt, and it's just something we always did as a family, and my dad passed away in 2003, and that's just one thing we always did with him. I think that's why I'm such a massive fan, because my dad was so into it. He loved Steve McNair, Eddie George. I think that's why I'm such a crazy fan. I don't know, so yeah, that's kind of how I became a fan.
Power Hour.
Well, surprisingly, I have a lot of football roots in different areas. My mother's family was originally from Baltimore, so they grew up Colts fans. And my father was originally from Alexandria, Virginia, which is a skip and hop basically to DC. So he was a Washington fan. So naturally, me born in Tennessee, I had no team to root for until they moved from Houston to Tennessee in 1996. So I just basically embraced them. I always felt Tennessee had a strong fan base, college-wise, to have the same as a pro football team. So I always felt that the market was good. I felt the fan base was good, and it could thrive here, and it has ever since.
Nice. See, although my folks are not, my dad is a Chicago Bears fan, and my uncle is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. But the year, I think the Music City Miracle was actually the first game I ever saw, first NFL game I ever saw. So he's become Titans fan after that game, and my family was cheering for Tennessee, I guess, just for the fact that it was Tennessee. But they like Tennessee, it's just not their favorite team. So I had a different reason for them coming to my team. So why don't you start, I guess, YouTube / podcast in same order, Rossi, then the Power
Hour? Really, I started when I moved to South Florida about a couple years ago because there were no Titans fans down here. I mean, it was so barren. I couldn't find one Titans fan, let alone somebody from Tennessee, and I started watching Titan Upload because, when you're in Nashville, you have all that content at your fingertips and you kind of take it for granted. You can just turn on the radio or whatever. So I started watching Titan Upload, and I didn't even know there was a Titans YouTube community. I had no idea, and I was like, this is pretty cool, and I don't know how we started talking, but I guess he found out I was a songwriter, and he was like, hey, can you write about sports? And I was like, I can try. And so he got me hooked up with this site, Fan to Fan Network, and I started writing articles, and it was cool because I learned kind of how to, which I kind of did that for like a high school project, was like sports journalism. And so I started doing that, and then he kept begging me to start a channel. I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. It's too time consuming, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I don't have enough time. And then I started it, dude. And I met all these really cool people, and, met probably, I know 5 or 6 fans now in South Florida, and a couple of them live like within 15 minutes of me. Shout out to Raul Garcia. And there's another guy, what's his name? Tampa Titan or something, Titan Bay. And then Sin City Titan, who I've become like really close friends with. So, and I've got to know you guys through this YouTube community, which that's the coolest part for me, is like the community and getting to know, all you guys and all these people out there.
Hour.
I've just always been interested in just broadcasting ever since I turned 20. And for a time, I lived in Dallas for a few years. And one of the things that really just turned me on to all of it was the entire ESPN lineup, which was just monstrous at the time. You had Mike and Mike in the morning. You had Colin Cowherd. You had Dan Patrick, which was somebody I very much look up to and still do. And I just used to listen to them all the time. And I just kept thinking to myself, it's like, this is something I would love to do. These guys get to come in and talk about sports all day, and they get to talk to people involved in the sporting world. So I really credit my wife for giving me just the strength to just come in and just try this, because for years I just kind of had doubt in myself to even do something like this. And really, it's just because of her that I'm on here, and I give her just all my thanks and just all my praise just to really just encourage me to do this. And through it all, I've just met some amazing people, including UP Shark. Rossi, you were one of the first people that I got to meet, and, we've just had a great friendship since then. And I really just enjoy doing this every day. I look forward to just writing the shows that I do and just coming on and doing your shows as well. So I just hope to continue to keep doing it.
Sure, for sure. Kind of the same reasons as for me as well. A lot of it is Titans don't get a lot of attention, national media. I actually just got tired of watching First Take and all those shows. Just talk about the Cowboys every day. I feel like those only they talk about them or Tom Brady or something. then the Titans were doing good. They were never talked about. And I just got to the point of like, even now when fans complain about us not getting enough attention, I'm not really, all for it. It's like, hey, they not give us attention. Just listen to us. We got a whole Titans YouTube community just with it. So like, don't worry about that. But and also just same thing as you Power Hour I did. I grew up wanting to be a sportscaster. Got older, saw how hard it seemed like it was to get in the industry. So I was good in math. Got an engineer, so now I'm a project manager at work. So I'm still doing pretty well for myself. But the dream was to talk sports every day. So that's why I started back up. Let's Be Real podcast. That's my main podcast with 6 of us, and then we got the Grizzlies podcast, and then start Titans one, like I said, because I know Titans attention being talked about. So man, it's a real big thing, and podcasting has become really big nowadays. So I do have my last question for you guys is like, what if somebody who's thinking about podcasting and thinking about YouTube, and what advice would you give them if they're, if they haven't, scared to do it or whatever? Same word, Titus Rossi, then the Power Hour.
Yeah, I would say, consistency and don't give up. Like it's it can be a grind, and I would say consistency and quality, trying to make the best show you can. I know for me, I didn't know anything about any of this stuff, and I've kind of learned, and a lot of people have helped me, like Upload and Titan Anderson, and a lot of these guys out there have kind of, oh man, you should use this program, or you should check out this program, or blah blah blah. Do this. Don't put this in your title. Do this. Tag that. So I've had a lot of help from Titan Upload and being a part of his network, and so I've kind of had a boost there. But I would say consistency and don't give up. Just keep putting them out, and people will follow you, man. People, if you got good content and you're just a good dude and or a good woman for that matter. I don't think we have any women YouTubers. We should, but or Titans YouTubers, I should say. But consistency and quality, and and two, I think one of the main thing is like getting the fans, and I'm a fan too, but getting your followers involved. You know what I mean? Like not just tooting your own horn and thinking you're a hot shot. Just staying humble, getting people involved.
For sure. Power Hour.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Tell us your secrets.
Right.
I mean, there's really no secrets. It's what Rossi was saying. You have to be consistent, put up content, and it's work. What you're putting in is your heart and your soul every week. And you really have to find a way to just separate yourself from everybody else. We all don't want to look like the same show. We want to be different. We want to put our personality into the show every day. And the biggest thing I try and take is like, I have to separate being a fan from having perspective. And that's the biggest thing. I can't be a rah-rah guy all the time. I have to be critical sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to put yourself in that position like, look, this needs to be improved. I know we can improve it, but it needs to be improved. So, teeter with the idea of just being different from everybody else. Find your niche. Everybody will find you as soon as you find the way you put your content out, and people will find it. They're always looking for something new. They're looking for something fresh. And all you can do is just continue to keep pushing. And if you don't get the results you want starting out, don't be discouraged. It's a slow process. You just take it day by day, and you just keep putting out good content, and people will notice.
For sure. I mean, y'all hit the head right on the nail. I were saying that Let's Be Real is now a podcast network. Let's Be Real Media. Consistency is key. That's literally what I was saying. We've been saying it for 4 years now. So, like you guys were saying, man, consistently put out content. Find something that's different from other podcasters. That's something I had to learn this year. Well, I knew, but this year thinking with the Titans podcast, for instance, it was like, okay, I need to find something that's different from, you guys' show and Titans and Truth and Titan Upload and Ty Anderson and everything. So just knowing that, staying consistent with it, not getting discouraged. It's easy to look at the numbers and get discouraged, but just find a way to promote. And like Titans Rossi was saying about, getting the fans involved, doing live shows, showing the comments, interacting with them. And also a thing I have learned about myself this year is, like you were saying, Power Hour is having perspective. Like, I see fans overreact on Twitter and I get frustrated a little bit, but then I remember I wasn't one of them before I started podcasting. Like, I realized, like, when I started podcasting, I started to take a back seat and start to, like you said, have perspective instead of just rah-rah all the time. So that,
and the biggest thing is, it's just, you have to remember, see it through a perspective of the player. Exactly. You know what the players are seeing it as. You have to sell it as that. You're giving positivity, but you're giving realism too.
Exactly. And just knowing the difference between criticism and, like I said, just going completely straight off, talking about firing people after one game. So definitely been a learning experience. A couple more comments. A lot more comments. And let me start with, so AFC South, be consistent, do your homework, be original. Sure, for sure. You definitely don't know who's watching. Keep producing content. That's my thing since the beginning of the year when I started podcast. Yep. And like I said, he has a really good podcast. He started Rossi said he'll check him out. Like I said, he covers the whole AFC South. Really good. Unbiased. He's a 49ers fan that lives in Nashville. I know a lot of people don't know that about him. But so I know he does it. Since he has joined Titans every Facebook groups and being a part of Titans Twitter family. I met a lot of cool friends out here in the Bay. Yep. And Ian now lives in the Bay Area in California. And like I said, got the pleasure of meeting him when I went to the Rams game, which was a great game to go to. And Power Hour, you got a new subscriber.
Awesome. Thank you, Kent. Get well, man. I appreciate that.
Man. Also, I say, 2018, I said, Memphis folks like that being too much. Yeah, it's a real Memphis Nashville beef. Like I said, me and Tightest Troop had a whole Memphis versus Nashville episode this summer. Pretty fun. It was pretty fun, man. It was good stuff. That's when South Noseville is growing up now. I've been in Johnson City before. Only thing I knew there was ETSU, so East Tennessee State. I didn't even know that. So East Tennessee State is in Johnson City.
Well, if you're a NASCAR fan, Bristol Motor Speedway is just a 30-mile drive from there.
Yeah.
So was that near? I remember Tennessee and Virginia Tech had a football game a couple years ago.
I was actually at that game.
Yep, nice.
A lot of drunk people. But I don't remember anything anyway, so I probably couldn't tell you much anyway.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back again with Let's Tighten Up podcast. Now I had to go back to a comment I did look at earlier. Yes, recipes, Young Dolph, but I know exactly what Savage was talking about. He's my co-host on the Let's Be Real podcast. Our last episode earlier this month, we did playoff predictions, and he predicted the Dolphins to make the playoffs. And now they are in the playoffs, and they play the Titans this Sunday. So crazy how the world turns. So we'll know who he's trying to cheer for on Sunday. He's an Eagles fan, by the way. So AFC playoff picture. And like I just mentioned with the Dolphins, they are now in the number 7 spot. So it's pretty simple. We're one game behind Kansas City. We have a tiebreaker. So they need to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals because I don't believe, and I haven't seen Pat Mahomes lose to the Denver Broncos his career. So I don't think he's going to lose the last game of the season to him. So it's pretty simple. Kansas City lose. We win out. We get no 1 seed. We either win or Colts lose, and we get the division. We still have tiebreaker over the Colts if they catch us, but it's just one game that separates us from winning the division. So question I have for you guys is, what are your thoughts? What are the odds? Do you think we're going to just get the division, keep the number 2 seed, or you think we're going to get the number 1 seed and Cincinnati upsets Kansas City and we actually went out like we were supposed to? Or what you guys thoughts? Guess we'll switch the order. Power Al, you go first, then Tice Rossi.
All right. Rossi, I'm going to bring this up. And I remember when we did a show together earlier in the year, and it was a prediction show. And I actually rewatched it yesterday, and we hit on a lot of them, and we missed on a bunch too. I'll let you in on a secret. We both picked the Steelers to beat Tennessee. So there was that. And I think your final prediction, you had them coming in at 13-4, and I had them coming in at 12-5. So I'm sticking with the 12-5 record. I think Tennessee can win these 2 games, even with the COVID outbreak right now, which is unfortunate because now Tennessee has 10 players on the list, but Miami has 13. So it's kind of a balancing scale right now. Do I think Tennessee can get the 1 seed? I really don't try and concern myself with that stuff. And I mean, honestly, Tennessee's where they need to be right now. I think their matchup's good at 2. Whoever they match up with is going to be either just really trying to fight to keep themselves in this thing. And it's really just going to come up what matchups they draw. And I think with Tennessee at 2, it's fine because right there you've got 2 home games. So whoever they beat in the divisional round or the wild card round, then they get a divisional home game. And depending on what happens with the Chiefs at that situation, really they could lose and Tennessee could just sweep in and get a 3rd home game. So you have to take that in consideration. So a lot of scenarios come up. People tend to forget that in the playoffs, parity is ripe. So as much as I'd like to see them get the 1 seed, I'm comfortable with them being a 2.
So right now, I mean, the number 2 would play the 7, right?
Right.
Yep.
Is that so? Right now, we would play Miami. So yeah, I'm with you, Pat, and that is interesting. Obviously, my prediction is wrong. I mean, if it woulda, shoulda, coulda, but just think where we could have been, man.
Yeah.
Just think, it's crazy. But I mean, I don't think the bye is that big of a deal this year, just because. I mean, look at the parity across the AFC. It's really insane. Like, when's the last time we've seen this much parity? I mean, all the teams with 6 losses. It's crazy that the top AFC team is 11-4. I really can't stand that Kansas City is once again like on this tear. Through the AFC, I really thought like they were going to be kind of slip to average this year, but obviously they haven't. I just really hope that Kansas City doesn't go on a tear and get to the Super Bowl again. Any other team, please, any other team.
Right.
But I think, it all hinges on Henry coming back for us. Man, if Henry comes back, we're going to be dangerous. He's going to come back, but, I think we're going to be really dangerous in the playoffs. I don't know if y'all saw that. Who was that ESPN guy who came out? Was it like Lee Palacerio or whatever his name is?
Tom Palacerio.
Tom Palacerio came out and was like talking about that. So yeah, I think we're okay. I kind of agree with Power Hour. I think we're okay at the moment. Man, this game is huge. Every game is huge, right? The last 2 games are huge. Carson Wentz is out for now. We'll see.
But a huge part of our defense is out as well.
Exactly. Damontre, Dupree, Jalen Brown, Buster Screen, who's been playing really well.
Yeah.
Hopefully these guys come back. Hopefully some of them. I know, like with the new rules, it's like 5 days if you're vaccinated, if it's asymptomatic or whatever. So we'll see.
And from what I've heard, most of these guys seem to be vaccinated. Otherwise, we would have heard something about it.
I think so.
There you are. Let me see. 28 South New NFL Network. Yeah, I think it was NFL Networks. Yep. Tom Pelissero. Yep. Ian said, I believe the Chiefs will eventually lose. I get to that. I actually believe the same thing. So you can type Rossi more audio. All my reviews on YouTube. Yep. So he's responding to you, Rossi, about check out his show. Y'all said Titans need to be in there. Like y'all said, everything else is on its way out. Ian agreed with Power Hour. He said he's still gonna be Team Who Day on Sunday. Will be. But before I get started, my comments. Kent Woods brought up a great point. John Madden did just pass away. I just had it in my notes and just forgot to mention it earlier. But yeah, rest in peace, man. The great John Madden. That was very sad news to get right before, 2 hours before starting the show. So, man, definitely hit. I missed his Christmas documentary, but it's supposed to be on all streaming platforms January 3rd. So check out. I think the documentary is called All Madden, if I'm not mistaken. So check out the documentary if you didn't get to catch it on Christmas. Like it came out perfect timing. So man, rest in peace, John Madden, for sure. But my thoughts on Titans. Like I said, the 1 seed is still there. I even tweeted this last week. I was like, man, just take care of your business. And that's not naming this episode. Taking care of your business. Like, take care of your business. Like, win your 2 games like you were supposed to beat the Steelers. Like you were supposed to beat the Texans. Like you were supposed to beat the Jets. Like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't like to live like that. A lot of Titans fans still gonna go back to those 3 games. I'm like, man, those games are in the past. It's the NFL. Almost every team this season have bad losses. Literally, almost every single team has lost to somebody, just like we lost the teams. All NFL games are woulda, coulda, shoulda. There's a lot of games. I can't really say. I'm not about to go over games we probably could have lost if we won. Like I said, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It goes both ways. So we're 10-5 right now. We're second place in the NFC. If Derrick Henry, like he's supposed to be comes back, we should be in good shape. The key to me is having both AJ Brown and Julio Jones in the lineup. The games we have lost included them being out. Both of them were out for the Jets game. The Texans game, Julio was out, and AJ Brown was basically out. He was in and out the game. The Steelers game, Julio was in the first half. We was up 13-3. We went out in the second half. We didn't score another point, and we lost. I think those 2 players being on the field, whether Julio is Julio Jones, the defense is going to treat him like he's Julio Jones. The defense is going to treat AJ Brown like he's AJ Brown, and whether Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, the defense is still going to put 8 men in the box like he's Derrick Henry, whether it be 100% or 70%. So, like I said, I've always said I'm not scared of anybody. Kansas City, even going to Kansas City, if we're healthy, if we got Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones on that offense. And the defense, we're for the most part healthy. We got Bud Dupree and everybody on the defensive line, and we're ready to rock and roll. There's nobody I look at in the NFL that I'm scared of. And in the past, I may have been scared of the Chiefs. 2 years ago, when we played in the AFC Championship game, I knew we didn't have a pass rush, and that's exactly how we lost. Pat Mahomes said all day throw the ball. This year we got a pass rush, so I'm not as worried about that anymore. So it just depends on health. And right now it looks like everybody's supposed to be back in time, pending some COVID stuff. As you can see going around the league, that's probably why the Browns are probably about to miss the playoffs. COVID had a big part in their late season collapse. So, and also the Ravens, injuries as well with the Ravens, but COVID had a huge part in their late season collapse. So just prayers that we get to if we get everybody back healthy. So, y'all got anything else?
Yeah, no, I mean, the good thing is we only have to win 1 game, right? I mean, to win the division. So, I mean, I hope we can continue. It's good to be hot going into playoffs. I mean, we all know how important that is, considering a couple years ago with how we did it. We went to the AFC Championship game. So, man, it would be nice to win out these last 2 games. I think it's very doable. I mean, Miami, they don't really – I don't want to sound cocky, but, they don't really impress me that much. They haven't really beat – I mean, they beat – I can't remember.
They've had a week. They've had a week half schedule after their 1-7 start.
It was like their I think the first or second game during this win streak, I can't remember who they played. It was somebody good, and they beat them.
The Ravens, the first game, the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Thursday night game, the early Thursday night game.
I remember that game. But we'll see, man. I mean, Tua can be hard to stop, you know. I mean, if he gets on a tear and if Autry's not, if Autry we need Autry or Dupree, we need both back, but hopefully, you know, one of them could come back for Sunday. I don't know if it's possible. Dupree would probably be a better shot because I think his was reported yesterday, right?
Yep. Yep.
Autry was reported today, so 5 days would be Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to get one of those, at least one of those guys back.
And my take's just basically just the simple keys to winning. On offense, no turnovers, which is the most important thing. They have to continue that going forward.
Yeah.
You know, touchdowns, no field goals. That's what's going to be the difference maker here. You know, Miami's offense, they're very fast. They're very quick to get into the edges. So you're going to have to try and match that. And the way you match that, get A.J. Brown started out quick. You have to get him involved early and often. And on defense, win your third down battles, force turnovers, and most importantly, you have to frustrate Tua. You have to get to him quick and get him to throw the ball or get him down.
Yep, for sure. And you already started the Titans-Dolphins Preview. Literally, I do one key to win, offense, defense. And hear what you said. I mean, turnovers. Our last 5 games, literally, we turned the ball and we had 5 turnovers against the Texans, 4 against the Patriots, and 4 against the Steelers, and we didn't force any turnovers. We lost all 3 games. 2 games we won, we forced 2 turnovers against Jacksonville. We forced 2 turnovers against the 49ers, and we didn't turn it over, and we won. It's pretty simple game plan, especially in the Steelers game. You turned it over in their territory. Like, you just can't do that. They offense did nothing. We just turned the ball over in their territory. They kicked 4 field goals, and the referees helped them get the touchdown they got because that was a bad call their whole drive, and that's how they won the game. Lucky stuff happened. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It is what it is. So don't turn it over. Our defense line be key because Miami Dolphins, their weakness is their offensive line, and like I think when y'all said they have 13 players on COVID too, so I don't know if that includes their line already bad. I don't know if that includes some of their linemen, but you know. Our defense line should eat no matter who. I ain't gonna say no matter who's out there. We're best when all the guys are there. But definitely getting after Tua, rattling him some. I'm not really scared of that offense. It's more so if we got AJ, hopefully Julio gets off the COVID list, so we can have both of them. But just one of them, we have the threat. But both of them, that helps. Like I said, even if Julio's 50%, I don't know what his percentage is right now. Him just being out there. And both him and AJ together, the defense going to have to account for him, and they are going to see him like Julio Jones. So. Those are my takeaways. Titans, Rossi, what are yours?
Yeah, protecting Tannehill because the Dolphins, believe it or not, are first in the freaking league in sacks. I mean, I saw that earlier and I was like, what? Really? And it's not like, I mean, it's more of a team effort. I don't know how many of those guys are out as far as on their defensive line or linebackers or whatever, but you know, I thought surprisingly our offensive line did okay the last game. I mean, Radens and you know, he got better, and that's a really good sign for us for the future for sure. So yeah, protecting Tannehill, I think it's going to be key. I mean, everybody saw what Tannehill's capable of. We all know what he's capable of. We just haven't really seen it a lot this season. And obviously, AJ having him back is like huge for Tannehill. I mean, they have such a good chemistry. You saw it on, even though they knew it was going to be like a dead play, you know, but you saw it when he just winged it up to AJ. Like he wouldn't have done that with any other player, I don't think. I would love to see Julio be more involved. I mean, that's something we've all been, you know, hoping and longing for this season. Like it's just been one of those things where it's like, come on, man. Like, and I don't know if it's Tannehill not connecting with him, not seeing him when he's open. I've seen some clips of Julio being wide open and Tannehill not seeing him or whatever else. But yeah, like you said, I mean, having Julio out there and honestly, in all reality, he could have just kind of been a decoy last game because he was still dealing with that injury. But having him out there, just if he's just standing there, it makes a difference, you know. But I would say, protecting Tannehill and AJ Brown, man.
For sure. And speaking of Julio, that Steelers game is exactly like the first half. We scored 13, we moved the ball well, just from the fact that he was out there. We wasn't giving him the ball, but like I said, just him being out there helped. Once he went out, I mean, at that point, you know, Nick Westbrook King having a really good year, but as number one receiver, that's the reason why you're number wide receiver 4, 3, I guess 3 now, and that's the reason why you're down the pecking order. Like once he got to be on number 1, Cody Hoster got to be on number 2. Justin Rogers is just like, as a defensive coordinator, I'm not, you know, kind of about to press. I'm about to do a couple pressing. I'm about to press up on you. You got to find another way to beat me.
And NWI is on the COVID list now.
Yep, I saw it. As well, we had another. It's him and Julio and Cody Hollister is on there now. So it might be the Cody Tate game finally, or your boy Mason Kinsey.
Kinsey might get called up. It just depends on. I mean, it would take them all being out for this game, I think, for them to call him up. So I would imagine we'll get somebody back out of that trio. I don't know though.
Isn't Des Fitzpatrick on the list?
He is on the list too. Yeah, but he's been.
He might be the first one
last week though. Yeah, he was on the last week. I remember.
So he might be the first one off.
Probably so.
And let's get the comments in. Listening, man, this commentary is Hotline to Game Football. Here, Ryan, man, what it do? Say what's everybody? Like I said, prayers out.
What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Ryan.
And definitely praying for you and your family. And condolences. And like the end did say, Dolphins have 2 defensive linemen out due to COVID. So COVID is hitting everybody. And someone next to South said Darius came off the list this week from what he read. So Darius Fitzpatrick should be off the COVID list. So like I said, we'll see. Coming this game, both teams seem like they're really with COVID, so the game could be pushed back as well. You know, NFL been rescheduling games depending on how bad it gets. Hopefully, it don't get much worse. Just prayers out to everyone, you know, dealing with COVID. Like the fact this thing hasn't went away, you know, it's getting to that point now. It's like, man, are we gonna ever just get past this whole situation? But hey, it is what it is. But Dolphins Sunday as of right now, and I don't normally do predictions because, like I said, we all Titans fans, so I'm pretty sure we all got the Titans winning. So ain't no point in saying, the Dolphins gonna win the game. Like,
I don't know. Do we? Do we all have them winning?
Yeah, I do.
I got them winning this one.
You said 12-5. They got to win to go 12-5.
What about you, Power Hour?
Well, Bill Belichick calls these shirt and hat games, and this is a shirt and hat game. So I think it's going to be a fight. I think low-scored affair, but I think Tennessee wins 17-13.
Yeah, I feel like every Titans game I've watched since I've been a fan has been a fight for the last 21 years. And just
Tennessee has to fight for what they got.
Yep. They always got to make it a dog fight. It's still going to run routes wrong, unfortunately. Yes. And that's the question. Thank you for bringing this up. And it's not so much losing the dead. Well, it is. I'm going to include him in this. So, you know, our fans, and I've probably been the best in not getting too involved with like rookies and all the, you know, when fans, you instantly call the player a bust, like in their rookie year. Like Dylan Radins had a great game, his first official playing time, but up to this point, everybody been saying it's a bust of a pick because he hasn't played. How do y'all feel about it? Do you think we should get the players a couple of years, like, because they are still rookies learning the game? And I've always just like, I'm a patient person. Like, they're rookies. Like, everybody can come in hot off the, you know, right off the bat like AJ Brown did. Or, you know, other guys like Michael Parsons, like that's special talents that do it. So how do y'all feel about the whole, like, putting all this pressure on rookies to produce, like, right away?
Each player is different. I mean, Some guys are going to be able to jump right in and pick it up quick. Some guys take time. Some guys take a year or two. I mean, it really just depends on the player. Perspectives, by hindsight, you have to just understand everybody's different on how they learn the game. Some of these guys, it's completely just a different world when they step in there. They have to adjust to the speed. They have to adjust to the playbook. They have to adjust to the play calling. There's a lot of scenarios there. So, I mean, you really just take it into consideration. Whatever player gets drafted at a high level could be a bust. And then there's some guys that don't get drafted and they end up being superstars. I mean, that's the parity of the league.
Yeah, what's crazy this year, it seems like a lot of the rookies who are showing out are wide receivers. You got some wide receivers that are playing freaking like top 5. Jalen Waddle, guy we got to stop. Jamar Chase. There's a couple other ones that are playing really well too.
Stephon Diggs was a low draft pick, and look at him.
Yeah. The guy from New England's pretty good too. The Kendrick Bourne guy. I think he's a rookie too.
No, he came from he was with the 49ers.
Oh, was he?
But he was with the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken. 2 and 8 is himself, no. He'll probably let us know in a second. But I think he came from the 49ers.
But it seems like now a lot of rookies are getting thrown into the fire. Like especially a lot. The league is different now. I think ideally if you could let them develop, then let them develop. I don't really hate on any player. Like I hope they all do well. It's a lot of them, I would say it's their passion. It's what they want to do. How many of us want to do something we love for a living and don't get to do it? So I'm sure they want to do, I mean, I think Dez could be pretty good. He's just got to learn how to run his routes. And I've heard that Dez is not really, especially early on, he was not really into it. Like he wasn't in his playbook. He was kind of lazy in the locker room and things like that. But I know he's picked it up a lot in the second half. So I think the guy's got talent. He's just got to – it's like you look at people like Brady, 7th round pick. He looked like an average Joe Schmo. The guy doesn't have the greatest arm, but what does he do? He studies. He knows the playbook like the back of his hand. He's got great awareness. A lot of that type of stuff comes from doing your homework, not necessarily talent. Just think if a lot of these guys that have this supreme talent would put that type of effort in, they'd probably be unstoppable,
And it comes down to Mike Vrabel saying this last year. There's football players and there's guys that just want to play football, and they're two different people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love Vrabel.
I listen to Ron Depp every week. He has Chris Sanders on every week. Yeah, I know. I listen to TV every week, breaking down Dez Fitzpatrick. You definitely do. He did say Kendrick Bourne definitely did come from the 49ers. Yep. And he said he had Chris Sanders on. I know he had Teron Davenport on recently on his podcast as well. So, same thing, like I said, when I come down to rookies, like Caleb Farley, for instance, everybody's worried. We got a broken player. He had back questions coming in. He tore his ACL. The back and ACL are 2 totally different injuries. Like, it's a freak injury that just happened. Like,
well, he's not Frank Gore tore his ACL twice.
Right.
And look at the career he had.
Exactly. Like, allow him to come back next year. Let's see what he looks like when he gets back. Like, like it's not. I know Super Bowl bust year. Your rookies typically don't win you Super Bowls. It's just the honest truth. Christian Fulton is a prime example. Last year, rookie year, was hurt a lot. He played some. We saw some glimpses, but he was hurt a lot. Look at him this year. Lockdown corner, pretty much. So it just, like, let them develop. Like, give them years. Everybody gonna be Michael Parsons. You didn't have a high enough pick to get a Michael Parsons. You get a late first round pick. That's what happens. You're gonna get more of a developmental player, or someone you got to ease into it, and that's fine. We were pretty set this year to ease some players in. I think just everybody has amnesia from last year, and that's a rare case. Like, the offensive lineman just want to, rather have a rap career, and I know he signed with the. Hope he's doing better just as a human being, but I think that's a once in every lifetime opportunity. And honestly, I want the Titans draft Jeff Gladney, and he's out the NFL now too because he got in trouble off the field. So things happen. Like it is what it is on that end. So fans, please, I can't argue with them no more. It just is what it is with them. They just got to learn patience. It's like all of us being podcasters, learning perspective. We learned the patience with it, so that's how we got to get to it. Bryce Press said maybe AJ Brown can talk to Fitzpatrick and see what AJ Brown can tell him to do. Yep, hopefully they just take him under their wing. But let's get to every episode. I do an upset pick of the week. I probably got 1 or 2 right this whole season, but I still be trying. So I'm not telling you to go bet this on FanDuel because I'm not on the money with them. So y'all, who is y'all upset pick in the NFL for week 17?
I'll let you go first, Power.
That's a tough one.
Okay,
there's a lot of good matchups in week 17, so I know everybody wants the Bengals to upset the Chiefs, which I thought about that one, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm more focused on Tennessee handling business with Miami, so I don't want to get into that narrative. But throughout just all the week 17, I think there's some really intriguing games. I think even right now, the one you have to look at is the Colts and the Raiders, where you have Carson Wentz out. So you're basically begging for Jonathan Taylor to run the ball. So that's going to be the Colts' only defense right there, to just run the ball and hope their defense holds up.
Yeah.
So, that's ripe for upset, but I do have an interesting one, and I will go with this one. So I just feel like the Seattle Seahawks are in shambles right now. I think Russell Wilson is made up his mind. He's not going to be there next year. If he can get traded anywhere at this point, I think he's going to take it. So I will call this my upset early. I have got the Detroit Lions beating the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
And Detroit has not let me down in upset picks this year.
You picked them?
One time.
You picked them to beat Arizona.
I picked him to beat Pittsburgh, but we all know how that turned out. That infuriated me. But I did pick them earlier in the year to beat. Who did they beat? It was one of the wins they beat, but it won Arizona. I think it was Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah. See, Minnesota has been the team I picked to upset people, and they don't. Minnesota's the team. They're like my them and Philadelphia are my jinxes. Anytime I pick them to either get upset or upset, they them both either lost or won the game. They did the exact opposite. So I was try to stay away from them. I see Ryan picked Washington to beat the Eagles. I was looking at that one, but I just can't pick the Eagles in no type of my upset picks anymore. So
they look good. The Eagles might sneak in the playoffs.
Yeah, they in now.
I just got to hold on to it.
Yep.
I want to pick. Yeah, the Colts thing, if Wentz doesn't play, I don't really consider it like an upset necessarily, but
if you're the Raiders, you do.
Yeah, that's true. Jonathan Taylor is good. He can take over a game. I want to pick the Bengals to upset the Chiefs, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Joey Football did throw for 525 yards, and man, those Bengals receivers are something to watch, dude. You never know. The Bengals could beat the Chiefs. I'm going to say the Texans. I'm going to say the Texans are going to pull off another win, and I think they're going to beat the 49ers.
Wow.
So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say the Texans are going to come in hot, and it's going to be a dog type of game against them again, I think, for us.
I can see that one. I looked at that one. I looked at both of y'all upset picks. I really thought long hard on it. Like I said, there's some really good choices this week. I'm going to stay away from Cincinnati, Kansas City, and I'm going to stay away from the Raiders and the Colts. Which, ironically, if the Raiders do win the game, they just might be in the playoffs, and the Colts might be out because they would have the same record.
That's crazy.
And Tennessee would actually clinch a division right there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to stay away from the Titans. I'm going to stay away from those two games and go different. I thought about choosing Washington with Philadelphia. Philadelphia's playing so well, and the way Washington lost last week to the Cowboys. Yeah. And I knew my guy Mike was about to come on here if I can get to his comment as a 49ers fan. Texas not going to beat the 49ers. Nah, they won one last week. So, man, but I'm going to go. Dang. I almost want to pick Arizona's on 3-game losing streak. The Cowboys are rolling. But, Stephen A. always says, what can't go wrong will go wrong for the Cowboys. And I could very well see Arizona going to Cowboy Stadium. Kyler Murray, I think, used to tear it up there in high school. It is now considered an upset, ironically, because Arizona lost 3 in a row. So give me Arizona over Dallas. In Dallas, I think that's their perfect 3-game losing skid, and they would actually take over. Now they won't be home field yet, but they have a tiebreak over Dallas if they come back and win the division. So give me Arizona over Dallas. I thought about Denver and LA Chargers. Chargers are really an upset, picking team, but I just don't trust the Broncos. They still have a shot at the playoffs, but not really. They're like very slim. They're just not eliminated yet. And Ryan said if Lamar plays, I did think about that, but I didn't know. I didn't think about Lamar playing. I thought he was just out. I forgot about if Lamar is gonna even play in that game. And I've been choosing to get around so much lately. I'm gonna chill on them. Everybody knows I don't believe in them since I went to the game in LA and saw Matthew Stafford on the back-to-back picks. Everybody knows that I'm not about to keep hopping on it on that note. So those are my upset picks, and that does it for the show, man. Just once again, thank you guys for coming on. Let the people know where they can follow you and subscribe to your show.
Yeah, you can follow me Titans Rossi on YouTube and at Titans Rossi on Twitter. That's the 2 platforms I broadcast on. So we'll have a show Thursday night, a live show with a guy named James Wheeler, aka the Big Sportsman, aka Titans for Life. He just started a YouTube channel. Really knowledgeable dude. Knows a lot about the game. He used to coach and stuff. So have him on the show Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys check that out. And thank you, P. Shark, for having me on. Michael, it's always good to be on with you, man. We'll have to do another show together soon. And
definitely.
Do a show with all you guys. So thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, P. Shark. I love your content. I think it's awesome. And tighten up.
I appreciate it. Power hour. Now you freeze up on us. Yep, I think he did.
I don't know if he was. At least he froze in a good spot.
There you go.
Bad timing. I guess it's my turn now. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. You can find me, the Power Hour, on my YouTube channel. Just type in the Power Hour Tennessee Titans. Look for the little blue mic. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media sites at the Power Hour 615 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm also on TikTok. Follow me daily on Tuesday and Friday videos. I will be back. I'm off right now this week, but I will be on Bryce Pratt's show this coming Saturday. I'll be doing an interview with him. I'm his special guest. And I will be back January 3rd. I will let you know who the guest is, but I will also let you know the first Tennessee Titans playoff game. I'll be doing a live pregame, halftime, and postgame reaction live at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Nice.
Once that comes up, I will let you all know when the information gets a little more to me.
For sure, man. And Bryce, of course, came right on time. Don't forget. Farewell. Oh, man. Shout out to Bryce, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in. Ryan, like I said, prayers out to you. Even tuning in on this type of day for you, man. Just prayers out to you and your family. 2 days South, my guy Mike Padden. Can't wait to be on your show next week. Ian, shout out to you for, of course, supporting me, and shout out to everybody supporting me throughout this whole year, 2021. Y'all kept me going. Even times I probably got down and it's all about, man, I'm tired of podcasting. Just seeing the people who do support the show, they actually have to bring up. So, man, appreciate you guys, like I said, for coming on. Appreciate y'all for having me on your show this year. So give me the opportunity to promote myself. And also, if anybody's listening who y'all probably forgot, if y'all forgot where to follow them at, the links or whether y'all at y'all Twitters and y'all YouTube channels are in the description of this episode on YouTube. And I will share the tweet out on Twitter tomorrow as well. Also, if you listen to audio, if you missed the live show, it'll be our audio right after the show ends. So appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll be back on January the 5th next Wednesday. Another live show with new guests and for the first episode of 2022. And till next time, tighten up.
Take care. Tighten up.